Welcome back to Generation Orange. Our spirits, I think, are a little bit higher than how we probably left you Saturday evening. Whoa, what a bittersweet night. And now the dust is kind of settled. We know the matchup, probably what we anticipated, realistically. Thoughts now that it's been, 72 plus hours, Dad?
Defend Mile High, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds.
We shall
Broncos
fight on the
country,
hills
we
and in the
shall
streets.
never surrender. Let's go.
That absolutely is the motto. That's it. That's literally all that can happen on Sunday. So often in these kinds of sports, we talk about morale and what kind of player you have or what kind of team you have. And I think that this is really all going to come down to which team wants it more. And maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but considering everything that's happened with Bo Nix fracturing his ankle, among other things, I actually think that could provide a different kind of fuel for the rest of this roster that honestly the Patriots would just never be able to have. And of course, what happened to Bo Nix, absolute heartbreaker. I mean, we were really only able to enjoy this divisional round, playoff win for like 26 minutes before the Schefter report came out. And I remember seeing it and I was thinking, this is a hoax. I was like, this is a hoax. This can't be real.
Even Peyton Manning questioned it,
right? Rightfully so.
And because news like this never comes out like at that time either, right? It was the whole thing was surreal. I still, it's the shockwaves have kind of subsided and it's kind of sunk in. But wow, and it's just kind of like this is just a crazy season, But yeah, I mean, it's here we are, and at the end of the day, I feel like it's time. And what we do need to talk more about Bo, but at the end of the day, it's just time to get excited again and appreciate the opportunity in front of Broncos country,
Yeah. Broncos country, we know that so much of this season, the excitement that we've been able to enjoy, the success, obviously, that the Broncos have had, everything good about this season in one way or another has been connected to Bo Nix. That's the bottom line for me. Obviously, the defense has been outstanding. Don't get me wrong, but Denver, there have been years where the Broncos have had a great defense, but it doesn't matter because we can't even get 6 or 7 wins on the board. But this year, everything fell into place, and so much of it was because of Bo Nix. And for that reason, it just hurts a little bit more, I think, because even if the Broncos make a run and do something crazy, some kind of Nick Foles story, it wouldn't feel quite the same. Without Bo, of course, because of everything that he's, contributed this year. And today, Bo had a statement on Instagram, pretty typical good stuff, everything that you would expect, thanking his teammates, thanking God for a wonderful season. But it must be tough if you're Bo and if you're the other guys in the locker room. Dad, I was watching this I don't know the context of this clip, actually. I don't know how it came up, but for whatever reason, Patrick Surtain and Nick Bonito were doing this podcast together. And they were discussing their reactions to it. And when you hear them and just all of them, I mean, Patrick Surtain literally said, my heart dropped. And that should just go to show you exactly what kind of character that Bo brings to the locker room and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So.
Right. Well,
Go ahead.
No, think about, how we felt, how all of Broncos country felt, the way the game transpired and then the Knicks. But yeah, imagine to be one of those boys in the locker room, they feel all the same, but it's all firsthand. And then that's their guy,
Right.
It's football is crazy. Like you just never know what you're going to get. Crazy thing. This is one of the craziest things ever.
Yeah. So now that it's been a few days and Generation Orange family, if you tuned in on Saturday night, I mean, you watched it. You and I, Dad, we have not been that heartbroken, shocked, confused, maybe a little traumatized in a while, ever probably on this broadcast. So now that the dust has settled a few days, I've kind of come to a few conclusions that I want to share with you. And I think you probably share my feelings with this, but We got to hash it out. Number one, Broncos country, how many weeks this year, this season, did we, week in, week out, even on Gen O, say, man, that play calling was ugly, or man, Bo didn't have his best game, or man, this, that, and the third, that looked horrible. But you know what? We won. I mean, it was an ugly win, but we won. It was 7-6 against the Raiders, but we won. And now all of a sudden, you think that a quarterback is everything that holds this team together? If there's one thing that this team has proved, is that they don't do it by the books. They aren't this electric, eccentric offense that's going to shock you, that's going to do these, Mahomes-esque trick plays every third down. They're not that kind of team. They haven't been all year. And don't get me wrong, Bo not being there, does it hurt our chances on paper? Yeah, of course. Don't get me wrong. Bo's the better quarterback than Jarrett Stidham, 100%. But here's another thing, thought two. You all know what kind of person Sean Payton is. He's a vocal, deliberate, very classic guy. He doesn't like bad quarterbacks. He doesn't like bad quarterbacks when you're a starter. He doesn't like bad quarterbacks if you're the number two. He doesn't like bad quarterbacks if you're the emergency guy. He will not keep you in this facility. No, he is not the kind of guy that is going to keep around a quarterback that isn't at the very least serviceable. If not, somebody like Jarrett Stidham, who out of all 32 backup quarterbacks in the NFL, most of whom I cannot name, I would rather have Stidham. Give me Jarrett Stidham.
You make a strong point, and I want to share something with you. I don't think I'd ever heard this before. If I did, I forgot. And I don't even remember who it was that said it. But the most important two positions on a roster, starting quarterback, backup quarterback.
That's right.
I think that's what Sean believes.
And he should.
Yeah.
And I also think that, sorry, I'm kind of ranting here, but man, this is uncharted territory. I've got a lot to say. What happened on Saturday with the Bills should also showcase the shortcomings of what happens when you rely on just one guy on your team. Hey, I will give Josh Allen all the respect in the world. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's one of the best in the league. But year in and year out, we've kind of heard excuses or reasons as to why he hasn't been able to win a ring. Well, guess what? This year, there's no Lamar. There's no Mahomes. There's no Joe Burrow. But guess who was there?
Bo.
Yes, Bo. There is Bo. But you know who else is there? Nick Bonito, Hufanga, McMillan,
Jonathan Cooper,
Alex Singleton, who rocked him.
Zach Allen.
For one of the most, exactly.
J. Lau.
That's who was there. That's who was there on Salen. Jaquan McMillan with one of the most, when I saw it, I thought that was the most uncontested interception of all time. And I know you have thoughts on the Bills Mafia and how they reacted to that call. So let me hear it. Lay it on me. I've been talking for too long.
Well, yeah, no, I want you to keep going. Bills Mafia. Hey, I typically appreciate the Bills and their Mafia, as a fan base. But I got to say, you did a lot of bitching this week with not a whole lot of tape as far as the calls. We talk about the officiating, more than we really want to. But the interception by McMillan, I will give Sean McDermott. I understood why he complained about how fast they moved through it, because it's such a huge play at that point of the game. I mean, this was the biggest play for either team in their entire season. This was a huge play.
Yeah.
And and we see them kind of do in overtime, they automatically do replay a lot of the time, right? So the pacing of it, I feel like the officiating crew should have given it a 20, 30 seconds, just
maybe.
No.
But if the RO saw the play and slowed it down and saw that it was okay, he didn't maintain. To me, this was very cut and dry.
Yes. And here's the thing, and obviously we're on the same page. And it's hard to understand what a catch is anymore, but I'm kind of got it figured out, and it's changed a lot. But here's the thing, that that's consistent, and how they do call consistently is you have to follow through with control when you hit the ground. So let's just say, for argument's sake, the exact same thing happens, but Jaquan is not touching the receiver. The receiver hits the ground and the ball just bounces out, right? With no, that's going to be an incomplete pass 100% of the
100% of the time. Yep.
right? So the fact that Jaquan rips it out, the ball never touches the ground, so it's live. It is absolutely an interception, and that's not even, that's not something, to even Joe Burrow chimed in about that, like, and he's right. Secondly, Travarius White's hemming and hawing and complaining after. Look, and I know, again, it's a huge play. You're tackling Mims before the ball got there. That is PI. They have to flag it. Yep. If they don't flag it, that's just as bad as when Peyton got, jobbed in that Saints playoff game back in the day.
Right.
So Bills Mafia, I'm sorry, and I know the players were emotional in the locker room after the game, and I can appreciate that, because they've been busting their tails, and so but no, as fans, you don't need to cry about that. The calls were, there was one that they could have thrown on Riley that they didn't somehow, but there was one on,
just like Zach Allen was getting held when it could have ended up in a safety in overtime, and the game would have been over, and Bo Nix would be healthy.
Yes,
all of these different things, but you can't look at it in retrospect.
No, and I'm not crying, but I just think when you factor in that hold, which would have ended the game, and that was very obvious tape. And by the way, they say, there's a lot of holds that don't get called. That's right there by the quarterback. It's right there in the end zone. It absolutely should have been seen and called. So yeah, I mean those calls were really kind of even when it's all said and done. Maybe there was but nothing to complain about.
You know what?
Enjoy your off season.
Yeah, Broncos country. Please let me know if I'm being like overly biased, but I know I'm young, but I've watched a lot of football, and I've had a lot of calls not go in the direction of my team, just like every fan has, right? When I think about that McMillan interception, to me, even if it wasn't the Broncos, even if that had happened in a Patriots, if that had happened in the Patriots Houston game, I would have just seen that as exactly what it was. The rule is clear. You have to maintain possession on the ground. I don't know. Again, Broncos country, please let me know if I'm being a little bit absurd here, but I don't even understand why it's being discussed. To be honest, I think that's one of the most by the books, and I don't even think that the replay official should have taken any extra time to review it. If he looked through it and he cleared it, which he should have, as we agreed, why stop the game at such a time? And my last thing, to quote Jim Moore, and I know we've done this on the show, when you turn the ball over 5 times, I don't care who you play. A college team, a high school team, a junior varsity league, much less an NFL team. Like,
you're not going to win.
My God, even if that call was, as bad as the Zach Allen no holding call or whatever it is, even if it was that cut and dry, you still turn the ball over 4 different times.
Yeah. Right. Be accountable. I mean, Josh Allen was accountable.
Yes,
he I let my team down.
Yes, you did.
He had no business trying to run, make a play at the end of the half, and he threw some. He was careless with the football. He's great, but he was careless with the football. Against a team that couldn't do that with.
This is an entertainment business, and people are going to make their conspiracy theories. Oh, the NFL is rigged. Oh, the NFL is scripted. What? That doesn't even make any sense to me. What guy writing the NFL script is going to, phone in to Denver and be like, all right, guys, change of plans. This team that nobody thought was going to be in the championship game, this team that is, lining up against one of the most beloved quarterbacks on and off the field, against a team that everyone thinks objectively probably deserves a Super Bowl ring. We're going to let them advance. Serve. But why does that make any sense? I'll never listen to the NFL is rigged comments personally, but why would they even rig it in that direction? Nobody likes the Broncos.
Right.
Just us.
Yeah,
just us two
no.
loonies in Arizona, but not for long, Broncos country. We are taking a trip this weekend to the great state of Colorado. Yeah,
Yes.
well, it's straight to the Mile High City where we have a duty to fulfill, just like everyone else, a part of Broncos country. And I think one of the highlights of that game is, of course, aside from winning, it's just how loud Broncos country was. It's always such a point of pride for any professional sports team, but especially for the Denver Broncos. And of course, us here at Generation Orange, we're going to be there loud and proud, cheering on our Broncos, cheering on our boys. And that being said, we've spent 15, 16 minutes talking about Saturday,
Talking about the
but
Bills.
we need to, it's time to shift gears, Broncos country. The time for grieving is over. The time for grieving was
Yeah.
over Saturday night. We got a game to play on Sunday, and it's a one-way ticket to Santa Clara at home. And what's got to happen?
What else could you want? Yeah. What more could we want? I mean, we got some good news today. Luke Wattenberg was a full participant in practice. Both of the wide receivers were limited. Okay, Franklin and Bryant. So, I feel
If
like if
they've
we
been
could
cleared
just
to
get one
practice,
of the
right?
two. Right. Now they were limited, and it's a hamstring and a concussion. So we're not, it's good, but who else was limited? Number 27.
J.K. Dobbins. That
Yep.
will be so. This is an interesting, and we're going to talk about the quarterback position for the rest of the episode. I have no doubt about it. But the approach on Sunday is going to be very intriguing to me because the reality is this was something that when we were going into the postseason, we were discussing how Sean has been very secretive with the playbook. Like no teams have a lot of film on what the Broncos do in the red zone. They don't have any film on any of these things. There's zero film on Jarrett Stidham. So my question to you is if you can ratio it, how much is Sean going to rely on Jarrett Stidham to actually be pretty productive versus how much
Yeah.
is he going to rely potentially on JK, potentially on all of the running backs that he so frequently loves to rotate in and out. What is your thought process?
My best guess, and it's so hard. I play a little fantasy football, and it's not much, but trying to predict Sean Payton and who to start, he's just really hard to anticipate what he's going to do. Having said that, you asked a question, so I'll answer. I feel like he will still throw the football significantly, and for all the right reasons, because he trusted him, and now, are they going to run the ball? A lot of that, they will, of course, to some extent. And then if they have JK, now you have to wonder, are they going to snap count him? Or, I mean, and I've heard, because I watch the other, sources and Broncos media, and there are two different kind of schools of thought here, and I can understand both. One is you limit him to X amount of carries, because you ease him back into shape, and you also, kind of protect him a little bit if we make the Super Bowl. The other school of thought is, which I can fully understand too, is there is no tomorrow if you lose. So
Yep.
throw him out there.
Yeah.
If he starts running the ball good, keep giving him the ball. So we'll see. Now, but to answer your question, I do feel like they will throw it. And even if they don't get Franklin or Bryant, I feel like they'll throw it. They picked up Brandon Johnson. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy who caught that Hail Mary against the Redskins. He's really tall and fast. I don't think he's really been I think he's just been practice squad the last year or two. However, he has been on the team. He's played with Stidham. So, I mean, we're kind of desperate there. So I think that's a pretty good pickup to get. Like I said, I feel they will throw the football. I think Evan Ingram could have a big game. Stidham in preseason, and I guess in training camp, was throwing to Ingram a lot. So, yeah, I feel like there's a good chance we'll commit to the run a little more than we have. but I still don't think it's even going to be 50-50. I still think they'll pass like they always do. But they might,
Yeah.
maybe they'll run in first down once or twice, and who knows?
Maybe they wouldn't have. There was no situation where the Broncos were going to be that much of a, rush heavy team, whether or not Bo was there or not. I think that this just seems to be not Sean
Yeah,
Payton's style, and so be it. As long as it wins us football games, I don't care. I think I'm with you. To be honest, I'm not Sean Payton, and you hit the nail on the head when you're like, if you try and bet on what Sean Payton's going to do, you might be throwing your money away because that guy's really hard to predict. But I think that the approach doesn't really change. Stidham, like in retrospect, Broncos country, you probably remember I want to put drama in quotes because there really was no drama there, but there was just an inflated media presence around this time last year, Bo Nix's rookie season, when there was discussions around who was going to be the Broncos starting quarterback. And some words got inflated a little bit, but more or less, Jarrett Stidham said in a press conference when he was not selected as the Broncos starter that he believes that he is a starter in this football league. This is a guy who's been in the league for many years. We already discussed how I feel about Sean Payton's just not going to keep somebody around who does not do exactly what he wants in his offense and is not going to do what he needs him to do when the time comes. So there's no doubt in my mind that Jarrett Stidham is not at least a playable character in Sean's offense. And I just think that, no, the approach doesn't change. I think you execute this game plan offensively in more or less the same way that you would have with Bo. Sub maybe a few things here and there. Of course, Sean, he's the mastermind behind all this stuff, quarterbacks, coaches, whatever. I think what we're really going to see, the bread and butter of this game, which we've seen all year. One of the things that I know that we've repeated week in and week out is, man, this defense knows how to play complementary football. They know exactly when they need to make a play. They know exactly what is needed at a certain time in the game, whether it's turnovers, whether it's a big stop on third down, whether it's holding a team to a field goal instead of a touch. All of those things, I know exactly what to do, and very often they're very successful. The bread and butter of this game is going to come down to the defense, just like it has all year. It's going to be a big day for Hufanga and Surtain and McMillan and Riley Moss, of course, on the secondary. I think it especially comes down to the defensive line and how they're able to stop the run.
yeah.
If you can just the offense doesn't have to be glamorous. This does not have to be a repeat of Saturday where you battle it out with one of the best offensive teams in the league and go to 30-plus points and cover the spread and go into overtime. It doesn't have to be like that at all. This could very well be a 7-6 game. I think that. But
yeah, it's possible. I feel
I don't care. They just have to keep the offense in it.
Well, sure. And you know what? There's a couple matchups that I think are really good for the Broncos. And look, all due respect to Drake May, he's a MVP candidate this year, right? He's had a great year.
But he's had some issues in the postseason.
And he's been fumbling the ball a lot. He has a high propensity to fumble, and they've been getting sacked a lot. That's not good that's not what you want to, how you want to be playing when you're, scheduling a trip to Mile High. So, yeah, it could be a nasty defensive game at the end of the day, and I feel like this. I think Dave Logan said it the best. I've heard a lot, and I'm sure you have too, as far as what to expect out of Stidham. The team is excited for him. This team is feeling good. They're happy for him personally, and they still believe they can win. Dave Logan said, I believe he will play well. He said, I would be surprised if he doesn't play well. And that's not saying he expects him to play out of his mind like Bo does in the fourth quarter, anything like that. But he's saying he's going to get the job done, basically. If the Broncos can give him a clean pocket more often than not, which they normally do, and just let him do what he does. We were talking about this. I don't know if we ever mentioned it on our Generation Orange thing, but during the preseason, I know because he was just killing it in the preseason. And I remember you know what? We don't want Bo to go down, but if he does, I kind of feel like we're in good hands, And you know, this guy, this Stidham guy, I think it was a 4th-round pick. The Josh McDaniels has him. Of course we hate Josh McDaniels, but the guy knows quarterbacks.
Yeah, he does.
He goes to the Raiders, gets him. Okay, so that not only did he's coveted, he's wanted by somebody who knows, right? The Broncos a year later would pay, I think it was like $6 million a year, $12 million for 2 years for a backup. I don't think that had ever been paid to a backup before. Maybe I'm wrong. And then last year, the Patriots wanted him. He was a free agent again. The Patriots wanted him. The Broncos paid him.
Yeah. My
point is, guys who know football, who know offense, who understand quarterbacks, have been wanting this guy for a long time. It's crazy to me how referenced this. When he was with the Raiders, he played the 49ers, and he just shot the lights out. Right? I think they lost the game. I could be wrong, but he threw for like 3 touchdowns and 350 yards. And I remember they talked about this game when he started for Russ, you know, a couple of years ago, and now they're talking about it's only one game, but still, he played really well. I feel like he played adequately when he started for the Broncos. Those 2 starts, we won 1-2 against the Chargers, and then we lost a close game to the Raiders. I feel like, and this is just my little football mind and my eyes, take it for what you will, I really feel like watching him in the preseasons, and it's only preseasons, I know, okay, but this is all we have. And last year, and then going into this last preseason, I think I saw the guy get more comfortable in the pocket, just more fluid with, you know, when he leaves the pocket or not, very decisive. I think, you know, it's a small sample size to go on, but the team trusts him, and he's been practicing against the Broncos defense for 3 years. You know, he and his presser today was mentioning how much he's learned. You know, I mean, I feel good. I feel, you know, it's not, we kind of, I'm not saying we forget about Bo, but we kind of have to just, as far as this season goes, we have to just say, okay, Bo's a cheerleader now. We do it for Bo. We get that, you know, I would love to see Greg Painter hoist that trophy and say, this one's for Bo.
Yeah.
Why not? You know, he's the one that, you know, led us to the championship game. You know, pass the baton. If Stidham can just, you know, ball out a couple games, he doesn't need to throw for 400 yards. Just get the job done. Protect the football. Let the defense play, like you said.
Jarrett Stidham just has to play barely as well as C.J. Stroud played against the Steelers in the wild card round. I think that.
I hope he plays better than that.
Oh, I think he will. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying It does not have to be fancy. We don't need this guy to play like Bo Nix. And the only reason we do not need him to play like Bo Nix is because we have the defense that can compensate, that can make up for everything else. And hopefully with the addition of J.K. and the great stuff, the great production that we've seen from our other 2 backs that, you know, I think are the most prominent, the Broncos will be fine. I'm quoting it right now. Broncos Country, Generation Orange family. I want you all to know that Adriana, there is no doubt in my mind, as of Wednesday, January 21st, that the Broncos will be in Santa Clara. And by that point, we'll be having a different discussion. Don't get me wrong. But I just don't think, just based on the reaction from the players last year after what happened to the Bills versus how they are internalizing this Bo injury and what they're playing for today, I just do not see any team beating that. I don't. I think the Broncos are playing for more. I think the Broncos want it more. And I think that that's going to be the story.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't hurt. And I'm such a buffoon. I was the one saying, oh, well, they're not going to be underdogs next week. Sure enough, the one thing that
would make them an underdog, yeah.
However, You know how our boys respond to being underdogs because they know they're the overdogs, right?
Yeah.
So,
And you
look,
know what? I bet Bo Nix's mom still thinks that the Broncos are going to win.
right. You know, I think this when you look at, and hey, if you're not, you and I, of course, are lunatics, and we always believe, but I think we also have our reasons. Look, that's not my point. If you're from the outside looking in, you just look at this and say, well, okay, there's 4 teams left. The Broncos just lost their quarterback. They're definitely the long shot, right? How are they going to win a Super Bowl? Like, it's easy to just kind of adopt that mentality. All the locker room has to do is this. What they always say, hey, we're just focused on the next game, right? You do what you need to do. You get Stidham ready to go. I mean, it's not like he doesn't know the playbook or anything, but you get as many reps as you can. I heard they practiced a long time today. You get him as many reps as starter reps as you can while you can, and we know they're motivated as all get out. If maybe even more motivated because, like you said, because of the Bo situation, it maybe gives them more of an edge. You get through this Sunday. You punch your ticket to Santa Clara. Then you see who you got, who's still, you're healthy. Maybe you get both of those wide receivers back. You get Dobbins back, or maybe Dobbins is more healthy. And now you got 2 weeks to plan for your next opponent. It's one step at a time.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put down other teams, okay? I try to be positive, you know that. You really look at these teams, and now the Rams aside, the Rams have won a championship. They have a championship Hall of Fame potential caliber quarterback, okay? They're the exception. The other 2 teams, how is they more higher status than the Broncos? As a matter of fact, look at our talent, look at our roster, look at our All Pros, our Pro Bowl. I mean, and Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't see. Look, the Super Bowl is still very, very realistic. Okay, but it's just one step at a time. Let's just take care of the Patriots. Okay, this is a team that had a great season, and the quarterbacks played extremely well. They're well coached. Both sides of the ball, they're proficient. Guess what? They also haven't gone a mile high and won a ball game. Drake May has this. I mean, hello. This is. I don't care. We have a very serviceable quarterback that can operate.
Yep.
We're gonna be fine.
And
if the Patriots want to win, they better come to play.
Yeah, I hope that the Patriots and their whole squad is going into this game assuming that it's a gimme because of Jarrett Stidham. Country, without getting into too much detail, I've been in spaces and just being in the media world for a little bit of time. You have a lot of conversations with guys who are active rosters on NFL teams, and when I tell you they do not have the football IQ that you expect them to have or want them to have, they just don't. These guys are pure athletes, and sometimes the athlete part gets separated from the game. That's the reality, and I think that the best case scenario for the Broncos is if every single young man on that Patriots roster counts the Broncos out, that they count the Broncos out for whatever reason they believe, and that they get a rude awakening when they come to Mile High. Out of all the bad news that could have happened, Broncos country, we actually are still in the best case scenario. Could you imagine being the Patriots and Drake May goes down? And then you got to go on the road to Denver and face that defense with whoever your backup is. That is substantially tougher than what the Broncos are dealing with right now. Count your blessings, everybody. That being said, Dad, what else have we got?
Man, I think we pretty much covered it. It's go time.
It's go
This
time.
is the AFC Championship.
No more go time.
Goodness.
It's just go time. Stid him. I've been watching highlights.
Stid him.
All 7 minutes of it all day. Yeah, I'm pumped. Broncos country. I
Yeah.
sincerely hope and actually believe that we're going to be joining you again Sunday evening together from Denver with big smiles on our faces as we prepare for Santa Clara. But that being said, that is all we have for you today. Broncos country, Generation Orange family, like this video, subscribe so you never miss another episode of Gen O. This has been Adriana and my father. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you in just a few days for the next episode of
Go
Generation Orange.
Broncos.